Welcome everyone to our Native Lights edition of Trowel Time. So glad you can join us. I'm Grant LaFave, and today I'm here with Brother Ben Tigner, and we've got a very unique episode this month highlighting our brothers from the Oklahoma Masonic Indian Degree team.
Yes, we've got an interview with David Dill from the team. We managed to get a few minutes with him on the road, actually, while he was traveling to perform another degree. The Oklahoma team has traveled all over the world, and their story is truly one of a kind.
We'll also have news updates from around the state from Darren Thompson. Tom Braun will join us to discuss one of our most solemn rituals, the Masonic Memorial Service, and so much more.
And if you'd like to see more stories like these, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel.
We'd love to hear from you in the comments section as well. Please share any ideas or suggestions for the show, and maybe we can have you on our next episode.
Thanks again, and now let's start the show with our interview with the Oklahoma Masonic Indian Degree team member, David Dill. How did this start?
I believe it started back in the 50s. There was some sort of convention in Kansas, and one of the grandmasters or people down here in Oklahoma was asked to get a team of Indians together, and so they kind of sort of did that, and that was like the first seeds of the team. It actually was organized, I believe, 1962 or 1963 and formed into a team. And then since then, it's been in continual existence since the early 60s.
How were you introduced to the team?
I was raised as a Master Mason in the summer of 2010. And then a few weeks after that, I attended an outdoor degree that was put on by the team. And I mean, it was amazing. It was incredible. And I'm Creek. And so after that, I proceeded to learn all the parts in all the degrees. And down here, it's called an A certificate when you can do all the parts, all the esoteric work. And so I did all that within a year of being raised. And then after that, I reached out to the team and said, hey, I'm Creek. I know all the parts. I'd like to be on the team. And then I got an invitation to be on the team, and that was the fall of 2011.
So tell me a little bit about why you've stayed with it all this time. What do you enjoy about it?
It's a lot of fun. We just have a lot of fun. It's a very specialized, specific group. It's a specialized thing that we get to do, and it's a rare privilege to get to travel and put our own spin on the third degree of Masonry. We've done this thing upside down, backwards and sideways. We've been in caves. We've been outdoors in the 100-degree weather and the freezing cold and the rain, and then all sorts of famous Masonic buildings across the country and the world. And so sometimes when there's something unique, like in a cave, and I was telling someone the other day, we've never done a degree on the beach. I think it'd be cool if we could get one on the beach, on the sand, with the ocean in the background. But we've been in the swamps in Louisiana. So I think we've been in the George Washington Masonic Memorial. That was 2 summers ago. So just any like unique location, we're always very intrigued by that. When I first joined the team back in 2013, we were in the Dayton, Ohio Masonic Center, and they had that thing filled to the top. And then there was an estimated 1,200, 1,400 Master Masons in attendance for that. A couple years ago, I think it was 2022, we were out in Delaware, and they had us out there, and there was about 800. So just some of the ones with the really big crowds, I remember those. And then, of course, the unique buildings, I'll always remember those. And then the pinnacle was going to England. And the team has been to England 5 different times, and I was fortunate to go with them on the last trip to England. And we did 12 degrees in 14 nights, each at a different temple in England. And so getting to see how things are different over there, and all the history and the lodge buildings, and how going overseas, they're still brothers, and we still have that common brotherhood.
From our global headquarters in Alma, Michigan, it's time now for the Trowel Time News. In a year full of Masonic and, we're told, national milestones, Cadillac Clam Lake Lodge number 331 put its stamp on 2026 with a recent sesquicentennial celebration. Worshipful Master Sam Cronkite had this to share.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to the brothers that are tuned in to Trowel Time. I'd like to start by saying I appreciate what you're doing with Trowel Time and the craft. Being a past master of Clam Lake Lodge is an honor, but what a treat to be the master of our lodge's sesquicentennial. Clam Lake was chartered in 1876, a year before the city of Cadillac was founded. We have a lot of events planned for this year, and you can check them all out at ccl331.com. We got a cornhole tournament, parades, raffles, and a lot more. But last Saturday, we hosted Grand Line of Michigan to a white tie event. It was a beautiful show from the Grand Master. It was unforgettable. Everyone looked fantastic. We awarded a few prominent members of Cadillac with Masonic recognition of community support. Judge Elmore and Sheriff Taylor, just a few. It was a fantastic afternoon of fellowship, and we are looking forward to more celebrating. We plan to open our time capsule left by our past brothers, and then we're going to leave one for our next generation. It's been a fantastic year so far. We're looking forward to the rest of our 150 celebration at Clam Lake Lodge at Cadillac.
Thank you for that, Worshipful Brother Sam, and congratulations to all the brothers up there in Cadillac. The Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Michigan recently held its 161st annual Grand Communication in Muskegon. As usual, a great time was had by all. We had the privilege of catching up with newly re-elected Grandmaster Dorian Smith between the session and the installation. Let's go to that interview now.
The 161 Grand Annual Session went very, very well. I believe this is the first time in my 29 years that we actually finished session before 12 o'clock. All the reports were efficiently done. We accomplished great many things this year that we're very, very proud of. Certainly as we're kind of moving forward to finish the renovation of our building, which should be done probably late spring, early summer. We've done some things to enhance our membership development and training. We've made some decisions around financial management as well that have lingered for quite some time. So all in all, this session has been very, very impactful for our brothers, and they are quite happy that it's over early, actually.
Thank you for your time, Grandmaster, and congratulations to all of the newly reinstalled Grand Line. Speaking of annual communications, we are knocking on the door of our 200th session in Mount Pleasant. Registration is now open at the QR code on your screen or visit ac200michigan.eventbrite.com. Click on Get Tickets and use the code MASON26 unless you are a delegate, grand, or district officer, in which case you would have received a separate code. Reminder that the Oklahoma Masonic Indian Degree Team will be making its first ever visit to Michigan, and they'll be kicking things off at annual communication on Sunday, May 17th. The team will be conferring the Master Mason degree at the Soaring Eagle Resort at 3 p.m. There's no need to register, but you will need a valid 2026 dues card to be admitted. Please arrive early. More upcoming events include the annual Grand Master's Reception. In anticipation of his election, Monroe Lodge number 27 is holding a reception in honor of our current Deputy Grand Master, Michael Roberts, on Saturday, June 13th at the San Marino Club in Troy. Register via the QR code on the screen, or you'll find links in your weekly Hiram's Herald newsletter, in Grandview, and at michiganmasons.org. Lansing will be the place to be on Wednesday, June 24th, as we celebrate the 200th anniversary of the formation of the Grand Lodge of Michigan. Our Grand Master will receive a tribute from the Speaker of the House during the House session at 1:30. The seating gallery is open to the public, but it is limited, and it's first come, first served, so please arrive early. The day will continue with a showing of our 200th documentary, A Light on the Lakes, and will conclude with a dinner, program, toasts, and more at the Lansing Center. Please register for dinner via the QR code on your screen or find links in the news, Grandview, and michiganmasons.org. And finally, Fellowcraft at the Fort registration is now open. On Saturday, August 1st, we will be passing multiple candidates to the degree of Fellowcraft inside the walls of Colonial Michilimackinac. The event is free to attend, but attendance is limited to 300, and we're already half full, so don't delay. Register at the QR code on your screen or the same places mentioned for previous events. Thank you for joining us for the news. We'll be right back with more Trowel Time.
Every day we make choices.
choices to help ourselves, choices that help those around us. When it's time to make a choice about your senior living options, consider Masonic Pathways. We offer choices for entertainment, socialization, and most importantly, choices that make life easier for you. When it's time to discuss choices in your life, make Masonic Pathways your first choice and contact our admissions team today.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we share our next segment, we have an important update on our draft naming contest.
Yes, submissions are still coming in, and we'll list them on the screen now. Feel free to vote on your favorite or leave a comment with your own suggestion.
The winning name will be announced during the Stone, Stitch, and Symbol book presentation at Annual Communication May 18th.
And better yet, we have a special Masonic gift basket for the commenter who submits the winning name. We'll reach out to you after Annual Communication to share the good news.
So send us your suggestion in the comment section below and stay tuned for more updates.
Why must a man reside in Michigan for 1 year before we can accept his petition?
Hi, Clint. Thanks for that question. You know, this has been on the book since 1991, and maybe before that, but there are records of it in 1991, and I can only assume that it took a long time to validate the qualifications and character of a man at that time. Now, I would suggest, and again it's a suggestion and my opinion, that we could change that. In the electronic age, we can do things a whole lot quicker, a whole lot faster, and probably with more accuracy than what we used to be able to do this. This would require an amendment change, and I'm sure you know how to do that. Good luck and thank you.
Do the DDI and BGP members always have the right to close a lodge by proclamation, even at a regular communication?
Well, first of all, the DDIs and BGPs are granted a dispensation to close by proclamation if requested. It is not their decision. If a worshipful master requests them to close the lodge by proclamation, then they have the ability to do that. It matters not if it's a business meeting or a fellow craft degree or a master mason degree. We tend to discourage closing by proclamation in an entered apprentice degree because it's the first time the candidate gets to see and hear the responsibilities of all the places and stations and watch that process happen. So it all falls on the worshipful master requesting them. It's only on request.
And welcome everyone. I am here today with Right Worshipful Grand Lecturer Tom Braun. That is a mouthful. I wanted to make sure I enunciated that correctly. And Tom's going to join us today to talk a little bit about a topic that I've always been fascinated with because it's so impressive when you see it done. I think it is a great, I won't say an introduction to people outside of the craft to see what Masonry is about, because it's a solemn thing.
Right. We only have a few occasions when we can put Masonry on display to the public. And the first one is the installation of officers, if it's a public one. And it's a beautiful ceremony also. And it covers the duties of the places and the stations within the lodge. But one of the most solemn and beautiful ceremonies is the memorial service.
Yes.
You know, we as Masons believe in the immortality of the soul. And Masonry is not a religion, but it is religious. It reminds us during that ceremony that we are all destined to walk through that door and join that celestial lodge at some point. And we know not when that is. And Masonry should help us in our daily lives and where we build our temple and remind us of the brotherly love, relief, and truth. Those are the things that are important. And memorial services are done for the family. It gives Masons an opportunity to show their love and respect for that brother who has passed, to the family, and reminds the family, where was he on those nights when he went to lodge? What kind of guys was he with? That gives us that opportunity. So memorial services should be done with a great deal of dignity and respect. Lodges should form a degree team for the memorial services. And we have 3 memorial services that can be found in our monitor or on the Grand View or on the Grand Lodge website. And it's the chapel service, it's the candlelight service, and we have a graveside service. And whichever one the lodges choose, they should put an effort into that. Because the public is going to see how we perform those services and how much respect we have for that brother who's passed. Because we're all going to be there at some point. And a lot of times there are grandchildren and children saying, oh my goodness, I didn't know what this was really all about. Gives them the opportunity to say, I want to do that. How do I become a Mason? And people would be surprised at how many petitions we get because of that, if the services are done with dignity and respect. They should be done from memory. I've seen a lot of memorial services that I wouldn't want to be part of. And we as Masons should be proud of what we do and how we do it. And I just can't state strongly enough that lodges should form a team, practice, make sure they have the ability to perform that work. There's symbols that we talk about. The acacia, the glove, and the apron. And those are true symbols that the public say, oh, wow, Masonry is all about that. So don't miss that opportunity.
Yes, I agree, Tom. I think when you have an opportunity to see one of these done well, as you're saying, it is incredibly powerful. I know it was the first time I saw it. I'm interested to hear about the first time you did.
Well, it's interesting. We had a lady call the lodge, and her husband became a Mason in Pittsburgh, and he was with the Burroughs Corporation and in sales, and he traveled all over the United States. And they settled in Lake Orion. And she said through all those travels, they had lost his apron. And would we come over and replace it? Because he had cancer, and this was his 4th round, and he's decided that he wasn't going to fight it anymore. So there were 5 of us that went over, and we presented him with an apron. We did the apron presentation to him. And after the presentation, he asked me if I would do his memorial service when the time came. And I told him I'd be honored to do it. And he leaned forward in his chair, best he could, hanging on to his cane, and he looked me straight in the eye, and he said, are you going to read it, or are you going to do it from memory? And I said, I'm going to do it from memory. And that's how I learned it.
Yes, it's amazingly moving when you have an opportunity to see it done from memory, like what you're talking about. And if you would like to have Tom help you with the memorial service, or your lodge with the memorial service, setting up any of those ritual things, I'll put his email address here on the screen for you to reach out to him. And I would encourage everyone to contact you and learn more about it. It is so powerful.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity for me to share our memorial services and talk about that. It gives me great pleasure. Thank you.
Well, I'm so happy you could join us. And we will be right back right after this. Are you looking for the latest Masonic apparel, materials, and literature from the craft? Look no more. At MichiganMasonicStore.com, you can find everything from hats and shirts to tumblers, blankets, and books. Our shirts come in a range of sizes and with logos and branding custom stitched for the Michigan Masons. Don't wait. Visit MichiganMasonicStore.com now.
And that concludes our Native Lights episode of Trowel Time. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share your comments with us.
We'd love to hear from you about possible show topics, what's going on at your lodge, and how we can make your Masonic story part of the next episode.
Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next month on Trowel Time.